太可怕了。
So scary. The entire building is shaking. Everyone fled downstairs. Recently, the southern part of China was hit by torrential rains, damaging many cultural heritage sites. In the early morning of June 26, 2024, the ancient wall of Shuiting Gate in Zhejiang collapsed partially. Shuiting Gate has a history of 1800 years, but the collapsed part was only rebuilt in 1995. Some netizens questioned why the old wall was intact while the newly restored part collapsed, accusing it of being a Chinese specialty, a Tofu-dreg project. According to news reports, at 2:20 p.m. on June 26, part of Shuiting Gate collapsed. After on-site inspection by experts, the preliminary assessment was that the collapse was caused by continuous heavy rainfall over the past few days. The part of the wall that collapsed had a length of about 19 meters and a height of about 7 meters, with no casualties. The most well-preserved ancient gate in Shuiting Shuiting Gate has a relatively long section of the ancient wall. The Shuiting Gate Historical and Cultural Neighborhood has the highest concentration of traditional buildings and the richest historical and cultural heritage in Shuiting. It has preserved the original ancient city layout named 3 lanes and 7 alleys. It's regarded as the architecture museum of styles of Ming and Qing dynasties, as well as the living fossil of ancient city street system. According to public information, Shuiting Gate was built between 190 and 193 CE. Originally a clay wall, it began to have bricks and stones added to the wall in 621. The original site was rebuilt in 1121. It was later revamped many times during different dynasties. The existing walls are relics from the Ming and Qing dynasty and the Republic of China period. The story of the historical city wall standing fine during the heavy rain while the newly rebuilt part collapsed has triggered heated comments from netizens. Some netizens said, "The original wall didn't collapse, but the newly restored one did. How much construction money has the relevant government department pocketed? The wall is a Tofu-dreg project. What if it collapses in the daytime and hits someone?" Collapsed heritage buildings restored by the Chinese government aren't limited to one place. The #1 Hakka ancestral hall of the Li clan in Fujian province has recently suffered a massive collapse too. The Grand Ancestral Hall of the Li clan is located in Guantian Village, Fujian province. Due to the heavy rainstorm, the hall collapsed extensively in the early morning of June 16th. The government allocated funds for its maintenance and upkeep in 2023, but now many cultural relics are buried in the rubble. Public information shows that the Li clan Ancestral Hall occupies an area of more than 5,600 square meters. It was built in 1836 by the descendants of the Li clan in memory of their first ancestor who entered Fujian province. It's the largest and best preserved ancestral hall in Fujian, and it's the most influential ancestral hall of the Hakka region in China as well. Thus, it has been honored as the first ancestral hall of the Hakka. It's designated as the 7th batch of the National Key Cultural Heritage Protection Site. Many netizens in mainland China mocked, "Don't blame the floods. How many houses of our ancestors have survived floods over thousands of years, but now the more they repair, the more easily they collapse. If you don't repair it, it will last a few hundred years, but if you repair it, it will become a dangerous structure." China's Tofu-dreg projects are becoming more and more ridiculous. Even high-rise buildings have become dangerous. On June 24th, a high-rise building in Foshan City, Guangdong Province, was seen shaking in the wind. At around 3 p.m., the Vanke Financial Center Tower A shook slightly. Employees fled downstairs. Some people said, "The whole building is shaking." The experts investigated, but they didn't find any damage to the main structure of the building or cracks on the ground around the building. But here, a potted plant on top of a cubicle inside the building was shaking continuously.
There's an earthquake. It keeps shaking. Gosh, it's shaking so much. No, the whole foundation is shaking. The glass door of the office kept shaking, and it took a lot of effort to hold the glass door still.
The shaking was more obvious at 2 to 3 p.m. on June 24th, sometimes for over 10 seconds, sometimes for a few seconds. The companies have already gone on break or have workers stay at home to work. However, staff from the Earthquake Bureau said there was no earthquake in Foshan and the surrounding areas at around 3:30 p.m. People at financial center blocks B and C, which are located within 100 meters of the problematic site, said they didn't feel any noticeable shaking. Many of China's high-rise buildings are built with inferior materials or jerry-built. They look gorgeous on the surface, but when disaster strikes, they can bring catastrophe to the people. A netizen commented, "China is full of dangerous buildings. I wouldn't dare live in them, even if I were given them for free." China's newly built high-rises are unsafe, so are the new bridges. On April 16th, an accident occurred at a bridge in Jiangxi province, which has been open to traffic for just over 3 years. A video posted by a netizen showed that a section of the bridge's white stone railing collapsed, roughly a few dozen meters in length, with pieces of stone scattered all over the ground. The local government claimed that the wind was too strong, but many netizens suspected it to be jerry-built. The bridge is 540 meters long and 28 meters wide, with 6 lanes and two-way traffic. The government invested nearly $27 million to build it. It opened to the public in February 2021. But 3 years later, the fences were blown down by the wind. Here, it can be seen that green tin fencing is used to cover the broken part. On April 16, 2024, a scaffolding on the Yangtze River Bridge collapsed, blocking the traffic. Fortunately, there were no casualties. According to the paper, staff from the local traffic bureau in Chongqing told reporters that the bridge was undergoing reinforcement construction, and only half of the roadway was open to traffic. To protect the safe passage of vehicles, a protective scaffolding was temporarily built, and the collapsed part was the temporary scaffolding. Some netizens commented that it was fortunate that no one was injured, but even if people were killed or injured, the CCP wouldn't make it public. In their eyes, human life isn't worth much. Over the past few decades, China's infrastructure maniac has resulted in many shoddy projects, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to call them shoddy. Let's take a look at a video here. In July 2020, a video went viral on China's intranet showing a man peeling the stone pillars of a bridge with his bare hands. The man suspected the bridge as having been constructed with jerry-built materials and alleged that it occurred in Chongqing. A local transportation bureau confirmed the video was true and said the bridge started construction in December 2017 and was completed in August 2019. It's 107 meters long and costs about $650,000. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.